The finals was probably my most anticipated game of 2023, even over these games. I clocked in dozens of hours during the open betas. Fun fact, during the last open beta before the game's release, I was outside the country and just couldn't play it. I have yet to experience a more intense rage than when I found this out. But there's a good reason why I felt this way though. The finals is genuinely some of the most fun I've had with a shooter in years. I grew up on both Battlefield and Mirror's Edge, so having devs from both games come together to make an arena-style shooter is a legit dream come true for me. And I'm not the only one that feels this strongly about the finals. It's got a strong player base and a healthy number of people seem to be in it for the long run. So it's gotta last for a while, right? I really have no idea. For everything this game has going for it, the future of the finals seems extremely uncertain too. We're in a time where the games industry seems to realize that live service games aren't the infinite money glitch they first appeared to be. The finals is coming onto the scene after a number of studios have decided to take their live service projects to the farm upstate. I want to take this game apart and try to see why it works, why people feel so positively about it, and why I would smoke it out of a pipe if I could. But also, we gotta see what this game could be doing better. The lifespan of the finals will absolutely be determined by how well the devs can fix the existing issues in the game. This game was shadow dropped, except the devs leaked it by accident on Discord a day before, oopsie, on the night of Jeff Keighley's ad showcase with video games sprinkled in, also known as the Game Awards. Fortnite. The game attracted over 200,000 people on Steam alone, a monumental success. Why has this game generated such a strong player base, strong enough to have the subreddit actively support the use of AI in this game? God, these people are so stupid. The reasons are simple. The game is just really fucking fun and unique. The game technically has 4 modes as of this video: Cash Out, Bank It, Tournament Mode, and Ranked Tournament Mode. Cash Out requires you and your team to take these vaults and deposit them into these fridge-looking things for money/points. However, depositing takes just as long as it does in real life, so you need to defend it as best as you can while the 2 other teams blow up the building you're in harder than the Unabomber after the price of Arizona increased by 20 cents. Copy! Bank It is similar, however instead of a single vault, you gather points from multiple vaults and by killing other players and have to deposit them at those same fridge things, albeit depositing them is much quicker. But be careful, if you walk around with a big enough bag, everyone will be notified and then try to jump you for your phones, and if you die, all 114 yen you collected is lost. Tournament Mode is just a more intense version of Cash Out, but for the first 2 rounds there are 4 teams instead of 3, and there are 2 vaults instead of 1. Which is honestly much better as it spreads the fighting out a lot more. And Ranked Tournament is exactly as sweaty as it sounds. The game modes are all incredibly interesting and take inspiration from many other multiplayer modes, but the real fun of the finals is the incredibly addicting gameplay, where blowing up walls and buildings is a completely viable option to get closer to the cash out. I can't stress enough just how incredible destruction is in this game. Because it's all server side, everything you see is the same as what everyone else sees. Can't get inside the cash out room because the enemy locked themselves in? Just blow open the floor and watch the cash out fall to the ground. If your BMI is a healthy 40%, running headlong into buildings and having them crumble behind you is also a viable option. Harness that big boy energy. Having destruction be this integral to the gameplay loop feels amazing. It harkens back to the good old days of Battlefield, but it feels so fresh and new. It's gonna be a long time before I get bored of the finals, especially with destruction this well implemented. OSHA be damned, I want my buildings made of cardboard. The game goes even deeper with this by having 3 different classes: light, medium, and heavy. Light is quick and annoying, and any sweat will pick this class. Full disclosure, I'm just extremely salty because I can't really seem to make the light class work for me, even after all the time I put into the game. However, this is my YouTube yap session, so what I say is objectively correct. Light mains will run away from you and complain that you weren't there to defend them once they die. They're basically mosquitoes. People who play light in the finals are the same people who play Bald Wraith in Apex Legends, and have a spot reserved in the lowest circle of hell. Annoying, fast, and no matter how hard you try, you just can't hit them because they're hiding in your hitbox. Medium is my personal favorite. This is basically the support class. They heal, revive, and protect, and are genuinely the most helpful class out of the 3. People who play medium should be considered essential workers. They don't suck at the game. They're just too busy keeping the light alive as he desperately tries to absorb RPG rounds with his face. Ignore the fact that I have 4 kills. Look at that support score though. If you're going into a game without a medium, might as well just shut the game off. Last is the Heavy. As its name implies, the Heavy is basically a meat shield. Don't make fun of him, bro, he's just bulking. With the most health of the three, this is who you want to be behind when the going gets tough. Their shield ability is incredibly helpful at making sure you don't immediately turn into a pile of coins the second a fight breaks out. The Finals actually has a hidden easy mode. You unlock it by equipping the Heavy with a shotgun and protective shield. It's not a balancing issue if I benefit from it. You just gotta get better at the game. If I were to rank these classes, I would put medium first, then heavy, and lastly light. I pray you never get into a match with only light mains. They think they can utilize that sniper, but they really can't. The weapon combat is also fantastic. This is in part to the amazing audio design of the Finals. Each weapon sounds incredibly powerful and hefty, even the melee ones. The weapon sounds, combined with the constant explosions and sounds of buildings collapsing, makes it so that you now get to experience how it feels to spend 5 minutes in the Bronx. Deadass. The guns feel punchy and precise, meaning that getting used to a new weapon doesn't require you to open up aim labs. You can be a beast with any gun, so long as you stick with it for a few matches. Even the goo gun. I love shooting white goo all over my homies. Finally, the maps also complement the quick and exciting movement. Running across rooftops, sliding across zip lines, flying through the air on jump pads, all of it helps keep the combat flowing smoothly. Alright, enough glazing, we need to talk about the aspects of this game that are not so great, and why I'm a little worried that this game won't have as much staying power as the other free-to-play giants. First up is something that definitely won't turn people away, but it's still really slimy, that being the AI announcers.
We've got our first elimination, Scotty.
The devs said that they chose to do this so they could easily come up with new things for the announcers to say on the fly. But let's be real here, they didn't do it for any artistic or creative reasons, they did it purely to not have to pay anyone to voice act. Simple as that. Going onto the Finals subreddit makes me think I'm going insane with people defending this decision with the most dangerous levels of copium. The AI announcers don't say anything worth using AI for. They deliver lines in very flat, uninterested tones and sound very AI generated. What boggles my mind is that the AI could have been used to generate unique commentary for each game. Hell, maybe even have them call out specific players by name for doing cool things during the match. But instead, we get treated to ChatGPT open mic night.
I'm opening it.
Nice, good.
Of course, I'm just a bozo with access to editing software. I don't actually know if something like this could even be possible. But my point still stands. They could have implemented it a lot better. It was honestly pretty filthy of the developers to use AI instead of just paying actual voice actors. Voice talent gets shafted pretty frequently in a lot of the industries that require them.
Here you go, Chester Stone.
Oh my God! 4 quarters.
So it just feels wrong to cut a corner that could not only make the game better, but also help real people out. It's also disgusting seeing people actively defend this decision, knowing full well that this will become a more prominent thing in the industry soon enough. The next thing that could spell demise for this game is one that is pretty common for a lot of newly released live service games: lack of content. The content currently available is great, but there's only 4 maps with different variations of each. Not enough weapon variety for classes, especially for heavy, and 4 game modes. Technically only 2 if you don't count the tournament modes. The game definitely has enough content to launch, which is fantastic, but the devs need to be swift with updates to keep players coming back. I think part of the reason why so many new live service games flop pretty much instantly is because they're competing with live service games that have been on the market for a good few years now. I'm not saying that they shouldn't try, but it's a tall order for a new game to compete with other titles with 10 times the amount of content they offer at launch. New maps, weapons, modes, all these aspects need to be more fleshed out if the game wants to maintain relevance, especially in an age where people pick things up and throw things away far quicker than is necessary. Developing a game is hard, but the devs absolutely knew what they were getting themselves into. Live service is a tough thing to pull off, even for billion-dollar studios. The Finals are in the right place and seem like they understand where to take things. And even for cosmetics, they're trying out new stuff like different reloads. I have no doubt that the devs will create some amazing additions to the game, but it's more important that they are open and quick to update. Silence only really works for a studio like Rockstar that has proved itself to offer great quality. The Finals also needs to prove itself, and the best way to go about that is to be open and honest about updates with the community. Lastly, this is the issue that could easily kill the game before it really has any chance to take off. cheaters. They're an issue in every free-to-play game for sure, but good god man, this game is hardly a month old and cheating is already rampant. I feel like I'm walking through a red light district with how many slimy cheaters I encounter. Having cheaters in the finals also just feels way worse than it does in other games. This is because of how genuinely fun the game is. When everything comes together, even casual matches can feel incredible, but all this comes to a screeching halt when you get lasered from across the map. After that, there's no salvaging the game. The only thing to do is to bite the pillow and take the L. Looking at the leaderboards too, it's clear that the majority of the people at the top are using cheats. I don't care how much of a jobless seat melter you are, there's no way you can achieve those numbers legitimately. Easy anti-cheat can suck my fucking toes. It isn't doing anything to improve this game's experience. I want to see this game succeed, I genuinely do, and as much as the game makes me rage to levels I never thought possible, it really feels like Embark has captured lightning in a bottle with the finals, so much so that I could legitimately see it being the next big thing. The finals is far from perfect though, there's still a laundry list of problems the game needs to work on before it can be called that. As long as the developers listen to their audience, this game will be a massive hit, but if the devs get greedy or complacent, this game is as good as dead. I haven't had this much fun in a multiplayer shooter in such a long time, and it would break my heart to see this game buried in the graveyard of live service games. If you haven't yet, give the game a try and see what I mean. It really does have the potential to be the next big thing. They just gotta ban melee weapons for the light class. Fuck you.
Like that.
What the fuck?
Yeah, all of them.